Stephen Glass has been sacked by Aberdeen. The Aberdeen fans want success. They want a manager that can come in and win them the league, even though they don't have the finances, they don't have the facilities, they don't have the capability to compete with the Old Firm and win the league. And that gives us an opportunity, guys, for a brand new Football Manager 2022 series. So, this is going to be episode 1 of a 5-part series. Aberdeen need to find a manager that can come in and take Aberdeen from mediocrity right to the top of the Scottish Premiership table. And there might be one man that can do it. There is a man that people think is possibly the greatest manager of all time. There's also other people, though, that think he is a guy that is a bit of a fraud. He's only took over clubs that have the best players and that have the most amount of money to spend. Well, I can confirm, Aberdeen do not have the best players and they do not have the most amount of money to spend. So, we're about to find out if this guy is as good as he really thinks he is. Is he the king of football managers, or is he just a fraud with a shitload of money to spend? Because the new manager of Aberdeen is Pep Guardiola, and we're going to see if he can take Aberdeen to the top of Scotland here in this 5-part series. He's going to have 5 years to do it. He's starting off on a 7.5 grand per week contract. I mean, it's a lot of money. I would happily take it, but that's a massive pay cut. I imagine he was getting a lot more at City, but McCormack cannot afford to pay him those wages. So Guardiola will take over Aberdeen. He'll have the exact same squad Aberdeen had at the start of the season. He's got Scott Brown as the captain. He's got Joe Lewis as the vice captain. I mean, if you look at star players, who do Aberdeen have in here? Obviously, they've got Matty Longstaff, who's on loan from Newcastle. He will be a big part of their season. Even though he's not done much in real life, you'd expect him to be pretty good under Pep Guardiola. The main two players I think we all know about, Calvin Ramsey and Lewis Ferguson. 2 players for the future. Even though Lewis Ferguson's kind of the now, Lewis Ferguson is coming into a game now. Calvin Ramsey, probably be a few more years before we see him reach anywhere close to, the potential that he is capable of. Other key players, I think you've got to look at the likes of Ryan Hedges, Ross McCrory, Christian Ramirez, who was signed this season. You've got some decent defenders in Declan Gallagher, David Bates. I mean, this is a decent Aberdeen team. And it is a team that Stephen Glass should have done a hell of a lot better with. But now we're going to see what Pep Guardiola can do with this Aberdeen team. Episode 1, we're simply just going to show one season per episode of this 5-part series, this Football Manager 2022 experiment. I'm going to split it up into parts, but for now I want to give Pep Guardiola time to settle in. We're going to skip all the way to the 1st of January. We're going to give him up to the new year. We're going to see how he's progressed and what kind of situation Aberdeen are in. So, we are just less, maybe even more actually, about 6 months, 6 months, we'll call it 6 months into the managerial career of Pep Guardiola at Aberdeen in Scotland. And how is he doing? Well, at the moment, guys, he ain't doing too good. He's in 6th place. He might be in the top half, but I think Aberdeen would have wanted to be higher than that. Most concerningly, they are 14 points off 3rd place Hearts, so that is a lot of points, man. They're not going to make that up, surely, in the last 17 games. I don't see that happening. I think Aberdeen will be massively disappointed with this. We expected more from Pep. I know it's his first season in charge. One thing that could be leading to that is injuries. Aberdeen are, if you look at the injury table, they do have a lot, man. I mean, got Conor McLennan out with the damaged Achilles tendon, Scott Brown's out with torn ankle ligaments, Dylan McGu's out, now McGinn's out, Lewis Ferguson's been out, Calvin Ramsey's been out, Declan Gallagher's been out. So, I mean, I don't want to make the excuses for Pep, but a lot, that's fucking half the first team there. More than half the first team that is out injured. So, the starting 11, come on, that's a lot of injuries, guys. But, I mean, overall, it's still not been good enough. They would have expected better, they would have wanted better, but I think maybe we can cut them a wee bit of slack. Maybe Pep can do better in the second half of the season when he gets some of those players back. For now, though, it's not exactly great. You can see games won 15, games drawn 5, games lost 11. That is his overall record as Aberdeen manager. Currently averaging a 48% win record. So he's doing less than his win record is less than Derek McKinn's. Derek McKinn's averaged 54% at Aberdeen. So yeah, the 48 there from Pep Guardiola isn't great. But like I said, injuries have pretty much screwed him this season. So we'll give him till the end of the season. We'll see what he can salvage. Well, one more look at the league table. They're 5 points behind Hibernian. That's definitely catchable. I think if they can finish fourth with all those injuries, I wouldn't consider it a success, obviously, but I mean, I think fourth is about redeeming the situation. I think it's damage limitations here. I think any less than fifth and it's been a complete failure, but remember, we'll see if we can get fourth, right? We'll skip to the end of the season, we'll see what Pep can do, hopefully when those injuries heals up. But at the moment, guys, I don't think Pep Guardiola's spell at Aberdeen has been too impressive. It is all over. Pep Guardiola has thrown his toys out the pram. He's packed his bags. And he has left Aberdeen. He's left Scottish football. He's went back down the border. He's joined up with Crystal Palace. This 5-year experiment has lasted just, about 7 months. Pep Guardiola, the man that supposedly is the best manager of all time, could only manage Aberdeen to a low 7th place in the table. That is shocking. 7th place isn't the only thing that was low. 7 wins all season is what Pep Guardiola picked up at Aberdeen. I'm surprised they never sacked him, to be fair. I'm surprised he was allowed to walk away on his own doing. That is shocking. Aberdeen there, with only 7 wins out of 28 games. I mean, that's not good enough, guys. Come on. That is terrible. Pep Guardiola, a fucking fraud. He is an absolute fraud. Did he make any transfers? What did he do? Obviously, those are the players that we know he brought in. He brought in Marcel Lavinier on loan, and he brought in Beppe for Falicano. Looks like the board gave him a bit of money to spend. No one of real note went out. Only Finn Yeats. He went out on loan in January, but come on. I know he did have some injuries. He had a few problems, but we would have expected a lot more from Pep Guardiola. That is just, it's not good enough, is it? Look at the schedule there. So since we checked where they were at the start of the season, he didn't win a single game in the Premiership. That's shocking. 2-2 draws against Ross County, 2-2 draws against St Mirren, 2-2 draw against St Johnstone, a 2-1 defeat against Livy, a 1-1 draw against Celtic, a 2-0 defeat against Motherwell, and a 1-1 draw against Dundee United. What's with all these? I don't get it. What's with all these draws, man? It's no good enough. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. The only thing you can, on a positive note, he made the Premier Sports Cup final, although they lost to the reigning champions St Johnstone, but at least they made a final, and they were still in the Scottish Cup. They've already progressed into the quarterfinals where they'll get Celtic, probably get knocked out, but at least we can say that Pep Guardiola performed in the cups. He did get to a cup final. They were still currently in the Scottish Cup quarter-final when he decided to leave for Crystal Palace. But I mean, that's just not good enough, is it? When you look at that there, it's poor. It really, really is poor. What if we look at, what else can we look at? What about players? What if we look at stats? What's somebody been doing? What have they been doing? What's been happening? Who's had the most goals for Aberdeen? So we've got Marley Watkins on 9 goals, Christian Ramirez with 7. I mean, this is all goals. It's even the goals. There's not really that many goals going in, to be fair. Just overall, it's lackluster. It's pretty poor. It's piss poor from Aberdeen, from Pep Guardiola. And it looks like Pep Guardiola is not the man that we thought he was. And I always thought he was a fraud, to be fair. So I'm not too surprised that he is absolutely failed here and that he is sucked as Aberdeen manager. It just goes to show me when he doesn't have the best players, when he can't throw 50, 60 million, at a signing to try and fix a position that he doesn't like, then he really isn't that good. If you look at it, Barcelona had the best team in La Liga, and they were spending just as much as anybody. I mean, if Real Madrid spent 80 million on a player, Barcelona could match it. You look at Bayern Munich, they had by far the best team in the Bundesliga, and they by far spend the most money. I mean, they pretty much poach all the good players after teams that can compete with them anyway. And then you look at Man City, again, by far the best team, and, you know, by far the most money in the Premier League. No one really comes close. So, Pep Guardiola, this great manager, this king of football management, I don't really see it, to be fair. I think he's done Aberdeen a shocker here. Yeah, there you go. That's the experiment, guys. Over and done. It's supposed to be a 5-year experiment. It lasted 7 months. Aberdeen finished 7th with 7 wins. Lucky number 7 wasn't the lucky number for Pep Guardiola. It's all over for this football manager experiment. Can Pep Guardiola win Aberdeen the league? The answer is a big fat no. Just like the bank balances that Pep Guardiola needs to win trophies, big and fat. But anyway, guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. We'll make more football manager experiments. If you have any experiment that you want to see, then let us know and we'll run it and we'll see if it happens. And we'll see if it works. We'll see if it fails. We'll see what happens down the road, guys. But that's it. Till next time. Thanks for watching and peace.